Welcome to the JumpStart IT Academy YouTube channel. I'm your host, Chris Johnson. I'm the lead tech career coach at JumpStart IT Academy. JumpStart IT Academy is a platform that I created. I'm the founder, and I created this platform to assist new tech professionals to enter into the tech industry. I also created it for existing professionals to transition into the tech industry. We provide 30-minute and hour coaching sessions. Go ahead and check it out at jumpstartitacademy.com. Let's get into this article today. This is an article that is going to be focused on soft skills. 3 reasons why soft skills are the skills of the future for tech professionals. Now, the reason I want to get into this article is because tech professionals have a tendency to not take soft skills very seriously. And so they put a lot of effort into the hard tech skills. And when they get to higher levels, there's gaps. There's issues, there's constraints, and there's problems, and there's inefficiencies in performance. Let's get into this article. And as I go through this article, I will put some salt and pepper in terms of having you get a pretty good understanding of what I'm talking about when I'm taking this article and putting the lens of the tech industry and the tech professional in mind. Let's move forward. Soft skills such as critical thinking, complex problem solving, resilience, flexibility, creativity, originality, initiative, and emotional intelligence comprise a chunk of the top skills and skill groups that global employers see as rising in prominence in the run up to 2025, according to the Future of Jobs 2020 report. I'm going to put this article in the description box, so if you want to glean over it for yourself, you can have access to that. The presence of a large number of soft skills in this list is particularly intriguing because soft skills are traditionally perceived to be inferior to hard skills. That's perhaps because hard skills have always been easier to quantify and measure than soft skills. That's true, because as tech professionals, we know how to do our job. I'm talking about people who are proficient, not because in the tech industry, if you mess something up, you're pretty much gone, unless you have some supervisor that you're friends with who's going to move you over somewhere else so you can blow something up over there as well. But pretty much in the tech industry, either you can do it or you can't. I like to reason it in terms of someone who can blow fire. Like, if you can blow fire, either you can or you can't. Because if you can, you'll blow fire and you'll be safe. But if you can't, you'll blow fire and you'll blow something up. Something's going to get set on fire. And the job of a technician or a technology person is to be able to perform, and we are judged by our results. So if you can get results, then it can be quantified, it can be measured, we can see what results you can get. But with soft skills, you can't really tell those results because it's difficult to measure performance. It's difficult to have a measurement of success. And that's pretty much what business people, leaders, and I would say business-minded people are looking for. They want to look for something they can measure and quantify and put into a number, and they can compare the numbers year by year, look at some type of ROI or something like that. But with soft skills, you really can't do that. They're intangible skill sets that allow an employee to be able to navigate the tech industry and navigate a particular job, department. And what these soft skills do is they move projects forward, they ease out relationships, they make it easier for the tech professional to do their job, but they're not really advertised when you look at job descriptions most of the time. And they're not really advertised in terms of when people go to college to get trained. And what they find is when they enter the tech industry, there's some deficiencies. And I want to highlight the soft skills by putting this article in front of you so you can see for yourself the importance of it from someone who has 25 plus years in the tech industry. As adults, this is probably also why many of us are reluctant to list too many soft skills on our resumes. After all, it is easier for us to show employers evidence of our hard skills, which are backed up with degrees, diplomas, and certificates or work experience. Wow. How do we prove to a prospective employer that you are an emphatic person who works really well in teams? That's a skill that can't really be quantified. That's why with soft skills, you want to put them in your repertoire and you want to present them to your employer. What I like to do personally, this is for me, I'd like to ask my supervisor or manager for a one-on-one. I usually have a one-on-one once a month just so I can get some type of feedback because I want to be able to fill those gaps before we get to an annual report or before we end up in a situation where there's some slander, rumor, or perhaps misunderstanding that my supervisor has already gotten enough information from me as far as the status of my projects, my attitude, how I'm approaching certain people in difficult circumstances, so it makes it easier. So I recommend that in terms of showing that you have soft skills, ask for a one-on-one, usually a manager who's adept, who's efficient, who knows what he's doing or she is doing. They can pretty much point out the blind spots and let you know if you're very honest with them. I like to be very honest and say, look, if you see something in me that could be corrected or improved, please point it out to me because you're a leader that I look up to and I really value your opinion. And I want to take what you say and make myself better because one day I want to be in your shoes or I want to be as successful as you are in the tech industry. So keep that in mind. In terms of soft skills, they can't be measured, but what you can do is put yourself in front of the person who's evaluating you and and ask for a one-on-one, something like monthly or whatever time frame you choose, so that this leader can gain confidence in you and you can give them feedback for what's going on and they can give you feedback. And so there's not any gaps all in the progress of operations or project or the project that you're working on. And they can feel more comfortable with you in terms of how you're handling other people with intangible skills that aren't necessarily on the job description. Because of the universal perception that hard skills are superior to soft skills, some experts have argued for a change in terminology to give soft skills the importance they deserve. That's true. Soft skills really aren't mentioned, but they should be mentioned because what employers will do is they'll have an expectation for you to perform with the hard tech skills, but they won't tell you straightforwardly that they also have an expectation for you to perform with soft skills. I've gone to environments where they've told me straightforwardly, we have problems with this department. Now I'll get in there and I'll be able to smooth over relationships with that department because that's one of my gifts. One of my gifts is just being a peacemaker. I've been in several circumstances where there's been difficulty, but I use sense of humor. I use just empathy or sympathy to be able to relate to the person that I'm speaking to. And these skills can't really be learned if you're unaware that you lack them. They say that the terms hard and soft indicate there's a hierarchy between them, with hard skills denoting greater desirability and soft denoting expendability. And that's how pretty much a lot of technicians or engineers approach soft skills. They don't make them consequential or important. Me personally, on the other hand, I do. I took time to understand communication. There's three forms of communication. There is small talk, which is talking one-to-one. There's talking with a group. There's also public speaking. And there's also presenting in meetings and things of that nature. And I took time to understand how to present information in meetings, how to manage a meeting, how to deal with difficult employees, how to deal with situations where there's conflict, how to communicate within a conflict, how to resolve a conflict. These are all skills that I took the time on my own to learn so that when I went into the work environment, I was able to capitalize off of them. But literally, they could not be quantified, but I could see in others who didn't learn these skills and build them the inefficiencies in their performance. If they asked me, I would have mentored or coached them. But most of the time, when I did give out free or unsolicited advice, it usually wasn't welcomed because a lot of these professionals, when they get to that high level, they think that they're enough. I'm sufficient. If I wasn't enough, somebody would tell me. But then they don't understand that everyone is pretty much looking out for themselves. And unless you really reach out and ask somebody to evaluate your blind spots, no one's going to do it. Some propose alternatives for the term soft skills are essential skills, complex skills, human capabilities, and so on. In this blog, We argue that the push towards increased adoption of technology and automation at the workplace over the last decade or so, which has accelerated during the COVID-19 pandemic, has put soft skills and soft skill sets at the center stage of the future of work. Below, we list 3 reasons why we think so. Wherever possible, we cite research or reports that support the argument that we make. Number 1, soft skills make employees relevant. The future of work is fluid. With technology rapidly changing the way we work, hard skills can get obsolete real fast. Organizations can ensure success when they hire people with soft skills, say experts. I agree with this. The reason I agree with this is because soft skills are perennial, meaning they're ongoing. No matter what, if you had a doctor who had soft skills, if you had a plumber who had soft skills, soft skills just seem to permeate and benefit wherever the possessor of these skills go. So in the tech industry, it's no different. If you have soft skills, it will make you distinguishable from your other employees, from the other employees, wherein if there's a layoff, they know that there's something about you that's different than the other engineers. And I call this the insert your name effect. So in my circumstance or situation, I would say that I would have the Chris effect. And so that's what soft skills give you. They give you that mystery and intrigue as far as people not understanding how is this person able to push their projects forward or ease over complex situations, or actually finish and complete and gain information for someone who doesn't really want to communicate with people and appear to be sabotaging the project. Well, these are skills that I possess that I recommend other people learn. Learn how to negotiate. Study sales, study negotiation, study things that you don't think are important. And I'm telling you, what they're going to do is they're going to add to soft skills. I even went as far as studying physics and chemistry. Now you'd say, what in the world are you doing? I just tell you that what it'll do is it'll give you a different lens to see your craftsmanship, how you apply certain situations. And when you look at other fields and disciplines, it changes how you apply the discipline that you've made your primary discipline. It says, in our view, the best way to make your organization more data-centric and digital is to selectively invest in those who are most adaptable, curious, and flexible in the first place. Since nobody knows what the key future hard skills will be, the best action is to bet on the people who are most likely to develop them. In other words, what they're saying is, if there's an employee that has the propensity or the potential to be able to acquire these skills or already have some of these skills, they're going to depend on that person in terms of if there's a layoff or if there's a shift in the technology market or the industry that they're in, or in particular, even their own business. They're going to value that employee over the other employees because they can easily retrain somebody who has organizational understanding or organizational skills. They understand the department politics, and they have soft skills and know how to communicate with people, because at the end of the day, behind every problem, behind every company is a person. And if you have those soft skills that can connect with people, relate with people, and work well with people, then what you're going to find is that your hard skills will be even more highlighted in your performance. Global giants such as Google and Amazon have been among companies that have recognized this. Over the years, they have been emphasizing that possessing soft skills such as learnability and problem solving is key to having a successful career with them. Now, learnability, what that means is the ability to learn. In the online mentoring program that I created called the Fast Track to IT, I have a way of learning that I teach people. I'll give you a quick snippet. It's called Concept Language Application. And so it's CLA. And what I recommend is that people get a picture of what technology they're studying, start understanding the language, and then start doing hands-on training. And when all that comes together, you'll pretty much be able to learn just about anything. I have taught students my learning methodology, and they've taught themselves the piano. And I have 3 students that taught themselves Mandarin, just simply using that learning method. And so learnability is something that I highly agree with in terms of what they're speaking about. And if you're interested in that, check out the Fast Track to IT program and go ahead and look at it. And I go in more detail in that particular program. Number 2, automation cannot replace soft skills. While advances in artificial intelligence, robotics, and machine learning are making it possible for an increasing number of human tasks to be automated, machines still lack emotional and social skills, as well as higher cognitive skills such as problem solving, critical thinking, including brainstorming, creativity, systematic decision making, and so on. This is why, as machines and AI are replacing humans in several jobs, people with skills that technology cannot replace will continue to be in demand in the job market. This trend has been around for a while, according to David Deming of Harvard University. Now, I'm not going to go into the entire section of what they're saying here in terms of automation cannot replace soft skills. I'll just put it in a nutshell by saying this, that if you have a salesperson that knows how to build rapport with clients, or account managers who knows how to build rapport with clients, you really can't have AI or any machine language being able to convey the wholeheartedness, the negotiation skills, the ability to connect with people, empathize with them, and gain insight of a particular environment and bring certain keywords up that connect with the client. These are intangible skills that cannot be replaced by automation. So I don't know if sales will be as impacted by automation as other fields may be. But even as an engineer or someone who is tech centric, it still proves to be true as well. Because if you have these intangible skills, projects still need to be moved forward. And the complexities of technology, you're still going to have people who need to integrate these. There needs to be integration points, and these integration points can be conducted by engineers who have soft skills. Number 3, hard skills are incomplete without soft skills. Here's an observation we have made after years of working as digital transformation consultants. Individuals can possess all the hard skills needed to execute projects at work. But if they don't have the ability to understand what the client or stakeholders want from these projects, or the ability to communicate with and motivate their team members to execute these projects, all of which require soft skills, whatever they create or build for the stakeholders will not fulfill their needs and fail. In other words, hard skills are incomplete because when you're in a work environment, in a tech work environment, there's projects, and these projects have requirements. Well, these requirements need to be verified. Plus, changes take place throughout the project. Therefore, there needs to be communication to ensure that the scope of work has not expanded. The budget did not shrink or expand. Also, that the timeline, perhaps something happened with a project that wasn't dependent on this project, but because of an intervening cause, it changes that project, which has a domino effect on the project you may be working on. And so if someone just has hard skills and they don't keep track of all these moving parts, what's going to happen is it's going to fall apart. But when you have someone who has these soft skills, who can see the unseen and unearth what is hidden, then it's going to make them very valuable in the workplace, in the work environment. And it can highlight clearly that hard skills are just not enough. I think that to gain hard skills to enter the tech industry, that works. But as you grow and develop and mature in your career, you're going to find that soft skills are going to become more vital than you ever imagined. So software developers don't just need to know how to code. They must have the business acumen to understand what customers, often from different geographical or cultural backgrounds, want to accomplish so that they can help build what is really useful for them. Similarly, sales and marketing executives don't only need to know how to sell. They need to have good interpersonal and communication skills so that they connect well with their potential customers. Successful managers are those who know how to engage and motivate their team members, and that requires soft skills. So here they have a list all about soft skills, and I'd like to go over this list real quick. Adaptability. The ability to swiftly modify your responses when faced with uncertainty. Thrive while doing that. Business acumen. Understanding how businesses work and using that knowledge to achieve good outcomes for your business. In the Fast Track to IT program that I created, I put a course in there called Quick MBA for Tech, and this gives you the business acumen skills that you need. Creativity, the ability to generate original ideas and turn them into business opportunities and to find innovative solutions to problems. I've been in work environments where people working in these environments have created patents for the company. Now, from my understanding, the patent goes into the engineer's name. They may not be able to get the revenue from it, although the company may give them some small portion or reward. Nothing in comparison to the revenue the company would make. But nonetheless, what this does is it builds that engineer's reputation. It builds that engineer's brand and highlights that engineer's capability and ability. Communication, the ability to connect with stakeholders to get your message or story across. Now, communication is vitally important. I highlighted some points of communication. I wrote a book, and it's an ebook, and it's also in audio form. It's called Communicate, Not Communicate. 8 Keys for Leaders and Professionals to Communicate Effectively. You can just go to Amazon, type in Chris Johnson, MBA, and Communicate, Not Communicate, and you can check it out there. But nonetheless, I create this book because I understand that engineers or tech-centric people need to know the importance of communication and how to communicate. And I sought to take a different approach towards relaying that the ability and the skills required for engineers to do that, because I come from an engineer's perspective. Collaboration, the ability of an individual to work with others to achieve a common goal. This is basically getting into the ability to work on a team, the ability to understand the different parts and how they work together and why they need to work together. And when you have an awareness of that and you have communication skills, you have all these other soft skills, it puts you in a position where you are now valuable and you can become indispensable because you're seeing things that most people can't see, because you're putting on lenses that you trained yourself that necessarily cannot be, as they described earlier, quantified. Emotional intelligence, the ability to identify and manage one's own emotions as well as the emotions of others. This is really important. I found this to be very vital. When I'm in a room, I usually like to measure someone's mood. Now, I mean each person in the room, because if someone looks like they are upset or if someone looks like they're a little down, I just make sure I frame my questions without putting too much pressure on them or remove the appearance of me adding anything more to what they're dealing with. I want them to be as relaxed as possible, and that takes a form of emotional intelligence to recognize you're dealing with a human, and we as humans, we're living this life. We might be engineers and we might be high-level engineers, but nonetheless, we have a life to live, and we have difficulties and challenges, and we have ups and we have downs, we have highs and we have lows. Therefore, I think being keen to understand this and being upfront about it in your own mind, then you'll be able to connect and relate to other humans. Empathy, the capacity to put oneself in another's position and to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference, meaning the ability to look at someone from how they see themselves or look at a situation the way someone else sees it. Now, if you can do that, then you can change your frame of mind. You can adjust your expectations. You can relax on your position, because in negotiation, you have to be willing to compromise. Now, I'm not telling you to take a loss, but there's typically not a win-win. There's just simply a point where both are willing to accept. And if you're flexible enough and you're aware of empathy, then you'll be able to relate, to understand the why behind someone who may be opposing your idea or your project or your recommendations. Leadership, the ability to work with and guide teams to achieve the best outcome while working towards organizational goals. Now, I've been a team leader in several companies, large companies with big budgets, And I would tell you, leadership is very vital. Now, you need to understand the difference between leadership and management. Management is basically directing and controlling resources. Leadership is when there is a person who is developing themselves by learning, by growing, and by becoming, creating a vision or a goal and working towards that. And a leader will attract followers because the followers see their vision, they see where they're going, or they're attracted to the followers' passion for what they're doing. And this is how a lot of people approach Steve Jobs and were willing to invest in him or work with him, even though he could be quite cantankerous at times when he was running Apple. Persuasion, the ability to convince your audience to change their attitude or behavior towards an idea. The ability to persuade someone, to get them to change their mind, not to be manipulative, but to present the information in such a way that they would actually consider replacing their ideas with yours. That has nothing to do with tricking someone or deceiving someone. It mostly has something to do with your ability to communicate, your passion, your drive, your communication, your tone of voice, the way you dress and how your posture, your eyes, your body language, all of these things which don't necessarily come to the forefront of one's mind. But if you train yourself to do all these things little by little, then what'll happen is you'll be able to become whole in these soft skills and deliver them in one quick moment, especially a moment where you need to persuade or have someone change their position so that the company benefits or your department benefits, but you want it to be a win-win, obviously. You don't want to be manipulative and say, okay, I win, because if you have that zero-sum mindset, usually people will remember that they lost and you won. And so now they're going to have this competition between departments or between you, or you may be looked upon negative. So always take a positive approach when persuading, and don't just seek to win one battle, but actually consider maturity this. Maturity is when you can negotiate with adversaries and come to sound agreements. Because competition doesn't work in a way where it's zero sum, I win, you lose. Because like if you look at competitive companies, there may come a time where the innovation has overcome those companies, but if they join together in an alliance, in an acquisition, then they'll be able to withstand the competition, the new entrants that are going into the market and thrusting them out. So keep in mind that you even want to see how you can work with adversaries. Resilience, the ability to bounce back and thrive when faced with challenges such as change at the workplace or stress. Now, this goes into maturity. This goes into adapting. This goes into being able to accept a loss. Now, if you get the understanding that no one's perfect and that you're going to have things that don't succeed or meet your level of expectation or excellence, then you'll be able to adapt and accept substandard or satisfactory performance or outcomes, because you'll live, your project will live, you'll live to be able to overcome some of the lower expectations that resulted from a situation that may be part to what you have done or what someone has done, in an independent of what you expected or intended. Today, we went over the 3 reasons why soft skills are the skills of the future for tech professionals. My intention was to give you insight into how you can apply this as an aspiring tech professional or an existing tech professional, so that you can understand that these skills are important. In my opinion, in my work experience over 25 years in the tech industry, soft skills, when you get to the top, I'm telling you, this is how it works. Being able to apply those hard tech skills is expected. I mean, that's just like drinking water. Now, the soft skills, that's what makes you distinguished at that highest level. And if you start developing them when you first enter the industry or you're in the middle of your career, but even if you're at the top of your field right now, it doesn't matter. Still start adding those skills, and slowly you will see an impact. You'll see a positive impact. You will see some form of improvement. And I think it'll go a long way for you as an individual, for your company, or for your department. This is JumpStart IT Academy. Get skilled in IT over a college degree. We offer a free course, the top 10 myths of the tech industry. And also, we're here for you if you need coaching, 30-minute hour sessions. Go to jumpstartitacademy.com and check it out for yourself. Like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. We'd like to know what you're thinking, and let me know your thoughts in terms of what skills that we didn't go into here that you found beneficial in your career or your work experience. I'd be interested to know. See you in the next video.